Imagine a marvel of the skies, turned into a towering inferno in mere seconds. That was the fate of Air France Flight 4590, a disaster that shook the world and extinguished the era of supersonic travel in a blink. On a serene summer day in 2000, a Concorde, the crown jewel of aviation, became a catastrophic fireball, altering the course of history. July 25, 2000 started as a day of promise, with passengers boarding the Concorde, dreaming of crossing the Atlantic in record time. But those dreams turned to ashes when a freak accident on the runway in Paris sparked a tragedy that claimed lives and grounded an aviation legend. This story isn't just about a crash. It's about the end of an era and the stark reminder of our vulnerability amidst technological triumphs. Join us as we unravel the chilling tale of Air France Flight 4590, a journey that started with high hopes and ended in a tragic blaze that was felt around the world. Let's take a step back and look at what made the Concorde, and particularly Flight 4590, so special, yet so doomed. The Concorde, particularly the one used for Flight 4590, registration number FBTSC, was not just any aircraft. It represented the zenith of aviation technology, capable of flying at twice the speed of sound. This particular Concorde was part of Air France's fleet and had a unique place in aviation history, symbolizing both luxury and advanced technological achievement. The aircraft, piloted by Captain Christian Marty, who had extensive experience with Air France since 1967, and his experienced crew, were prepared for what was expected to be a routine flight from Paris to New York City on July 25, 2000. Picture this: 100 passengers, excited to experience the thrill of supersonic travel, and 9 crew members, all seasoned pros, ready to navigate the skies. They were all looking forward to a swift, glamorous journey. But here's the gritty truth. Technology, no matter how advanced, has its breaking point. And on July 25, 2000, the Concorde hit that point hard. What started as a routine takeoff turned into a nightmare. With its delta wings and powerful engines, the aircraft was a masterpiece of engineering, yet a single overlooked flaw was about to bring disaster. This isn't just the background of a flight, it's the prelude to a tragedy that shook the world and punctured the bubble of invincibility that surrounded the Concorde. Now let's get into the heart of that tragic day. It was a sunny afternoon at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. The stage was set for Flight 4590 to make its grand leap across the Atlantic. Passengers were buzzing with excitement, clueless about the horror that awaited. As the Concorde roared down the runway at Charles de Gaulle Airport around 4:43 p.m., something went terribly wrong. A tire burst, a freak accident with fatal consequences. Shards of rubber flew like bullets, puncturing the fuel tank. In seconds, a spark turned the leaking fuel into a raging inferno. The pilots, battling against time and flames, made a desperate attempt to control the aircraft and find a safe haven to land. Amid the chaos, cockpit voice recordings captured the crew's frantic efforts. The co-pilot was heard saying, "Le Bourget, Le Bourget, Le Bourget," indicating an attempt to divert to nearby Le Bourget Airport. However, the situation deteriorated rapidly, with the pilot acknowledging, "Too late," followed by, "No time, no," as they struggled to regain control. But the Concorde was losing the fight. Engulfed in flames, it struggled to gain altitude, then plummeted towards the ground, crashing into a hotel in Gonesse just minutes after takeoff, marking a tragic end to the flight. The crash was a firestorm, a devastating spectacle witnessed by the world. All 109 people on board and 4 on the ground lost their lives in an instant. The dream of supersonic travel, symbolized by the Concorde, ended in a nightmare of fire and smoke. That day, the Concorde, once an icon of human achievement, became a grim reminder of our vulnerability. It wasn't just a plane crash, it was a moment that changed the face of aviation forever. The aftermath of the crash was chaos incarnate. Flames engulfed the hotel, smoke billowed into the sky, and the once-gleaming Concorde was now a twisted wreck. First responders rushed to the scene, a gruesome tableau of destruction and despair. The battle to quench the flames and search for survivors was intense, but the tragedy's scale quickly became clear. There were no survivors from the flight. In the hours and days that followed, the world grappled with the shock. News of the Concorde's downfall raced through media outlets.
A Concorde has crashed, and that's where we started.
The impact of the crash blackened the grounds of the small hotel on the edge of Paris.
A somber narrative of a technological marvel brought to its knees by a cruel twist of fate. The images of the burning aircraft became a haunting symbol of the disaster, etched in the collective memory of a global audience.
We couldn't do anything for them because the smoke was so thick, he says. The plane was trying to turn, he says, and it fell back down. There was already a fire on the plane. It started falling backwards.
Airports worldwide fell silent as the aviation community mourned. The crash didn't just take lives, it shattered the illusion of invincible safety that had surrounded the Concorde. Questions erupted. How could this icon of speed and luxury, which had flown for over 2 decades without a fatal incident, end in such catastrophe? The grief was palpable, the confusion widespread, and the demand for answers grew louder. Authorities grounded the Concorde fleet, signaling the beginning of the end for supersonic commercial travel.
And late tonight, the French Ministry of Transport has ordered that the 5 remaining Concordes flown by Air France be grounded until officials know what happened.
The crash of Flight 4590 was a turning point, prompting a re-evaluation of everything from aircraft design to emergency response protocols. In the gritty reality of its fiery end, the Concorde's legacy was forever altered, marking a moment of profound loss and change in the annals of aviation history. After the crash, experts from all over came together to figure out why it happened. They looked at every piece of the wreckage, trying to piece together the puzzle. What they found was a chain of bad luck and small problems that led to a huge disaster. First, they discovered that a piece of metal on the runway punctured the Concorde's tire during takeoff. This tire burst into pieces, and one big piece hit the wing so hard that it caused a fuel tank to break open. Fuel poured out and caught fire, leading to the terrible scene everyone saw. The piece of metal that caused the Concorde accident came from a Continental Airlines DC-10 aircraft. Just 5 minutes before the Concorde took off, the DC-10 departed from the same runway and lost a titanium alloy strip, part of the engine cowl, which was identified as a wear strip. The Concorde ran over this piece of metal during its takeoff, leading to the tire burst and the subsequent chain of events causing the crash. The investigation showed that it wasn't just the metal piece or the tire that caused the crash. How the Concorde's fuel tanks were built and their proximity to the tires made the plane vulnerable. The experts realized that even small mistakes or overlooked details could lead to a big tragedy. This crash made everyone in aviation think harder about how planes are built and how even the smallest thing can be a big risk. The Concorde, once a symbol of flying at incredible speeds, became a lesson on the importance of paying attention to every detail, no matter how small. The crash of Air France Flight 45 did more than end the era of supersonic travel. It sparked a major shakeup in how we keep flying safely. From this tragedy emerged stricter rules and a new focus on checking every part of a plane, no matter how small or hidden. Airlines and plane makers took a hard look at their safety practices. They started to pay more attention to things like tires, fuel tanks, and the materials used in planes. The idea was simple: prevent any chance of a similar disaster happening again. The Concorde itself, once a symbol of speed and luxury in the sky, never really recovered. The fleet was eventually retired not only from Air France but from the British Airways fleet as well, not just because of the crash, but also due to rising costs and changing needs in air travel. Yet the lessons learned from Flight 4590 live on. Today when we fly, we're benefiting from the changes made because of that tragic day. Planes are safer, and airlines are more careful, all because of the hard lessons learned from the loss of the Concorde. So while the story of Flight 4590 is a sad chapter in aviation history, it's also a turning point that made flying safer for everyone. It reminds us that, even in the wake of tragedy, we can find ways to improve and ensure that such a loss never happens in vain. The story of Air France Flight 4590 is more than just a tale of a tragic crash. It's a lesson about how important safety is when we fly. This event made everyone, from passengers to pilots to engineers, realize that even the most advanced planes must be checked and double-checked. We remember the people who lost their lives in this crash and think about how their legacy has led to safer skies for the rest of us. The end of the Concorde's flights marked a big change in air travel, but it also helped make sure that flying is one of the safest ways to travel today. The crash of Flight 4590 reminds us to never take safety for granted. It shows that learning from mistakes and making changes can help prevent tragedies in the future. As we keep flying and exploring new heights, we carry the lessons of the past with us, making sure that the skies remain safe for everyone. Thanks a lot for watching our video. We're glad you could join us to learn about Air France Flight 4590. It means a lot that you took the time to watch and think about this important story with us. Remember, every time you watch and share our videos, you help keep these memories alive and show how much we all care about keeping flying safe. Don't forget to hit the like button, share this video with friends, and subscribe to our channel for more stories like this. Take care, and we'll see you next time.